Do you read me, Otacon?
Loud and clear, Snake.
Kept you waiting, huh?
No! That is not Solid Snake!
So with Death Stranding 2 on the beach set to arrive on June 26th this year on PlayStation 5, Kojima Productions' latest trailer has showcased quite a spectacle in the continuity from its predecessor. In a world divided and the need to connect through stick and rope, in the world of isolation, on the brink of extinction, yearning for connection, this latest trailer brought us something interesting: the return of Solid Snake. From another dimension, or rather, stranded Snake. Just kidding, but it's clear that Kojima lets his video games live on through memes.
My bridge to the future.
Incorporating elements of his earliest works in his games as showcased in the MGS series that now lives on through Death Stranding. So after watching the trailer, it's only right we try and break it down into sections. And this is just going to be a personal perspective of my knowledge of the game, so if you guys have any interesting comments, leave them down below. So we have several new characters, and at the opening of the trailer starts with a character known as Neil, aka Stranded Snake.
Bring it on, because I'm not doing this shit anymore. It makes you think you have a choice!
The actor who portrays him is Luca Marinelli, an Italian actor in many great movies that Kojima holds in high respect, even commenting that he thinks he would make a great Solid Snake, hence the whole tribute to the beloved series. At the very start of the trailer, Neil appears to be conversing with somebody who works at the UCA, or rather Bridges. Bear in mind the unification of the UCA initiated plans to expand the chiral network beyond its borders, focusing first on Mexico and surrounding regions.
Re-establish the UCA, the United Cities of America. This is how we'll rebuild our country. But we'll need your help to do it, Sam.
So from what we can gather, Neil seems like a cool character, and hopefully is a potential playable protagonist, or maybe just a character that'll just be within the narrative. From what we understand in the game, he could be of Latino origin or perhaps Italian.
Guilty of illegally entering our country on multiple occasions.
The only thing that I'm guilty of is doing your dirty work.
And by way of compensation, we have overlooked your crimes.
We get the impression that Neil has been working for the UCA, transporting stillborn mothers' babies, or rather bridge babies, from Mexico to America.
Like bring dead, pregnant women.
No one would possibly allow that.
That's why I have to smuggle them in. They make me bring them over from Mexico.
It seems like the UCA are blackmailing Neil in exchange for him to do their dirty work, and as an exchange gets to keep his citizenship for America. So as some of you may know, BB experiments were made top secret and mostly expunged from the chiral network, leaving the people with the belief that BBs are only a tool for detecting BTs, and that still mothers serve as an anchor for them. It seems that Bridges was using Neil and his past against him in order to carry out their dirty work. So now we need to reach into some of the connections of the past to understand Death Stranding 2. Now before we take it any further, as some of you may recall in Death Stranding Director's Cut, Fragile's mother, known as Coffin, had a similar fate to Neil. She was a former porter, as well as the leader and founder of a supposed extremist group known for opposing bridge baby research. Coffin, as well as other porters, discovered the terrible truth about the packages they had been delivering to a Bridges facility in the eastern region. Living babies. Babies who would serve and possibly die in order to research and develop the BB project. Learning this, the other like-minded porters abandoned their occupations and went into hiding, forming an extremist group to put an end to the BB experiments and correct the UCA's path, through the likes of Peter Engelhardt, also known as Higgs, and Fragile, the bridge to the future.
Keep my Fragile safe. It's only right. You're like a son to me, which makes you her brother.
In regards to Neil, he explains this to a character known simply as Lucy. Now, I'm not too sure if it's the same Lucy as Sam's wife, because we are made to understand she took her own life due to an overdose, and that Lucy was a therapist who originally met Sam through his therapy sessions and fell in love with him before the Death Stranding occurred. Neil seems to have some kind of relationship with this woman, who appears to be working for the UCA too. You can clearly see the Bridges logo behind Lucy. Now bear in mind this is probably set before the events of the Death Stranding itself, or most likely at the very early beginning of the Death Stranding. So it's a possibility that Lucy might have had another relationship with the likes of Neil before Sam. Some of these cutscenes hint at that dynamic, that they probably had something going on. That is to say, if it is the same Lucy, we just don't know until it finally comes out.
Thing between us. It was a mistake.
No. No, it was not a mistake. It was not a mistake.
Lucy is seen throwing what appears to be some sort of pad at Neil that has some diagram to a bridge baby and the connection to the living and the dead. But it's uncertain if it's Neil's and Lucy's baby or if it's just some research Lucy's been working on regarding the BB experiments. Interestingly, the camera pans to what I believe is Lou. Some have speculated for a long time that Lou is actually Sam's real biological daughter, and the character Tomorrow, portrayed by Ellie Fanning, may be her, but without much evidence as of now, we really don't know for sure. It has also been speculated now after the latest trailer that Tomorrow is actually Sam's daughter, rather than Lou, who survived and is a repatriate like her father. According to reports, she even shares the same blue eyes as Sam. And Lou could potentially be related to Neil, who seems to have a similar ability to Clifford Unger, Sam's biological father, who was on a relentless pursuit to find his baby, realising Sam was his bridge, his son, that he had mistaken Lou for him.
They told me your name was Sam Porter. But you were Sam Bridges. My bridge to the future.
It's quite possible to think that that could be the case with Neil, on the lookout for one of his own children. The confusion comes from the fact that BB, Lou, symbolises Sam's past as a baby, and Cliff's memories and consciousness are distorted after death. It's like Cliff's soul is trying to reconnect with his son, unaware that the baby he sees in the pod isn't literally the same baby he once held, but in a way it is, because Lou represents the part of Sam's past. It's more than possible Neil was a victim of the UCA's inhumane experiments just like Cliff, and is on the search for something. Neil has the same abilities, perhaps some kind of BT entity who is an ex-soldier with military skills, as we've seen him control a similar skull squadron like Cliff. The question is if there's any possibility Lou could be Neil's child, and he is on a relentless hunt to find answers to take revenge against the UCA. But once again, we can't truly determine those answers yet, if Neil is in fact Lou's father, although they do share the same eye colour. Nothing else really as of now shows a connection between them being related. The scene switches to what can only be before Lou's tragic demise, as showcased in previous trailers, where she's seen supporting Sam as a BT in the pod and controlling the android now known as Red Samurai. She is seen to be travelling with Sam in some scenes, but in other scenes Sam makes his voyage without any BB pod. We then see several servers that line the beach, very similar to Metal Gear Solid 4 at the end of the game on Outer Haven, which perhaps allows BTs or the dead to connect with the living virtually through some sort of a metaverse on a headset. It's implied now as well that all these deliveries have become automated, meaning that the UCA's usage of human porters has probably been abolished in favour of AI.
With the support of the chiral network and APAS, humanity will be free from the need to move around. Bots are capable of handling deliveries.
And we noticed a strange cult that is tied to Amelie that seems to worship the extinction entity. It's worth noting that in that particular scene you can actually see the cult members bending the knee to Sam or potentially Lou, who could be the new extinction entity or perhaps a link to Amelie, hence why they're so desperate to get their hands on her. And because of another particular character, all tied to Higgs and his understanding of the Death Stranding, several characters have dooms, but Higgs allows him to control and contact BTs. I believe within Sam's journey, aside from connecting the world, he's trying to uncover what has happened to Lou, and Higgs knows something that Fragile will not tell him.
You, Higgs? Huh? Was it you that killed Lou?
You still don't know, do you?
Something he said. You don't know a goddamn thing about Lou.
All right, Sam. Let's see what we can find on Lou.
From the director's cut, we know that Higgs has been around since the BB experiments at Fragile Express, where mass disposals took place, so Fragile must be hiding something from us. Now it's interesting because Kojima doesn't miss a detail in his work and simply doesn't just place things in for no reason. For example, like music, but rather a message within the lyrics of the music. The song To the Wilder by Woodkid hints at some of the narrative of Death Stranding, which speaks in its lyrics about trying to reconnect with something or someone, that no matter the distance, the subject will find the thing that has slipped away from them. Basically, the lyrics reflect themes of unspoken words, missed opportunities, and the complexities of love and departure. They are a conveying message and a sense of longing and the bitterness nature of connections, aligning with the game's exploration of human relationships and trying to reconnect in a fragmented world. It's very fitting. Just like the previous soundtrack, which was Low Raw, which completely elevated the landscape of actually playing the world of Death Stranding. So as we know, aside from Sam connecting the world in the first game, he convinced Amelie, the extinction entity, to not bring the world to an end for the time being. She chooses to remain on the beach to spare humanity the worst of the inevitable last stranding, in hope of providing life an opportunity to come out stronger from the extinction. In Death Stranding 2, it appears technology has vastly improved in order to adapt to the way of life that is the Death Stranding and save the human race. We notice in the trailer, as well as something we saw from the previous trailers, of Fragile trying to escape with Lou. From our understanding, just like Sam, Lou is a repatriate, meaning that she can come back to life. This was pretty much confirmed at the end of DS1 when Lou is seemingly dead but is revived by Amelie, and just as Sam was, because when Lou returns to life, she's holding Emily's quipu. And it has also appeared as well at the end of Death Stranding that Amelie disconnected her beach from the living to avoid extinction, at least for the time being. Now this is where Higgs comes in. In Death Stranding 1, we get the impression Fragile kills Higgs on the beach or he commits suicide, but given on what we've seen, he has found a way to either revive or was never killed, and has partially adopted or enslaved Amelie's psyche, hence his appearance. His physical body died on the beach, but maybe his soul didn't. It isn't clear yet how he's returned, but some suggest it could be an artificial body controlling it from the dead as a BT. And this cult-like faction are extreme nihilists who wish to usher in the extinction, just as Higgs has always intended. They carry him around in a coffin to bring him out once again to carry out Amelie's agenda, but to try to speed up the extinction. It's strange because Higgs has the quipu that Lou had and wears it around his neck. One thing is clear, Higgs knows more about Lou than Sam possibly knows, as showcased in the trailers, but the brilliance in that is that we are yet to find out, as a game widely complex like Death Stranding is uncertain to say what the truth will be, even if you are an expert at breaking down videos of Kojima's work. Anyway, after Fragile seems to transport Lou to a safe place, the scene cuts to what I believe to be Lou again, but she seems to be under the protection and the care of UCA Bridges. This is very more than likely because it's a cutscene earlier on in the game before the disastrous events that unfold with Lou going missing. Further into the trailer we notice BTs, some familiar from the previous game and some that seem new, and some sort of creature bursting out of a chiralium cocoon. The giant BTs seem to be making a return like in the boss battle that Higgs sets up in the original, but there are two fighting each other in this trailer, possibly hinting at a divide between the dead amongst themselves. Either that or somebody has found a way to manipulate BTs to do their own bidding aside from Higgs. Maybe somebody at Drawbridge with a similar ability that can put them under their will. So after the unification, the UCA launched a plan to expand the chiral network outside their borders. However, many things have changed within the UCA, with Bridges now being disbanded, with the APAC seeming to be Drawbridge's antagonists with the distinctive orange colours.
That's not the plan, Sam. The UCA isn't looking to expand its borders. Just like with Mexico, they want to bring new regions into the network.
Is it possible that the UCA are working alongside Higgs, because we see Higgs and his unit have the same kind of outfits? Now we also see what appears to be an octopus type of drone with tentacles, most likely unmanned, and I can imagine a lot of the enemy variations are probably going to be unmanned too from the APAC, because I think that the UCA, whilst they might have some kind of connection to Drawbridge, they're going to be part of the antagonist as well alongside Higgs. But it appears human enemy NPCs will appear in the game as well, albeit more challenging to face. Zip lines also make a return, which is one of the best, if not the best mode of transportation in the original, in my opinion, to get from A to B. Although this zip line looks different from the one before and looks to be connected to the suit rather than the bridge's cuffs, which is symbolic of their nature when you think about it. Few scenes flicker that we have seen before, but check this out. This one can easily be missed by the frame, but it's very important we talk about it. It's only one within the one frame, but it appears to be a flashback of sorts that Sam would experience in the first game with his father Cliff. It's very similar. In this vision, we see Sam wearing his Bridges uniform with shorter hair and what appears to be a dead Lucy with a sheet over her body after unaliving herself. Or should we say that perhaps Bridges have been up to some shady experimentations for BB experiments? You guys decide. It could be quite a revelation in this game if we actually find out that Lucy in fact was murdered. But what's crazy is the onlooker is someone experiencing these visions like Sam did. Most likely like Sam's daughter, aka Ellie Fanning's Tomorrow. But this is important because it looks as if Kojima is definitely going to be linking some incredible truths into Sam's past and the revelations we shall see in the future. There is also an interesting shot of Sam taking what appears to be an underground tunnel system that allows you to travel to particular districts a lot faster. Maybe we don't need to rely on Fragile to teleport us anymore. Aside from some epic characters we've already seen so far, Rainey seems to be a tragic but interesting part of a story. In the newest trailer it seems she may have a tragic backstory and maybe was outcasted from her own, and potentially may have timefall resistant capabilities, hence why in one scene it appears the rain doesn't affect her. Unlike those who were throwing stones at her, they were all wearing hoods. It appears she, along with many others, joined the Magellan ship crew. At the Tokyo Game Show, on the trailer, she appears to be pregnant, and perhaps maybe she could be hunted for her child. It's interesting because Tomorrow doesn't understand the concepts of birth since she was living in the realm of the dead, without the normal birthing experience, which definitely hints at her being Sam's daughter since his child presumably passed away when his wife Lucy died. In one of the scenes she's holding what might be her baby inside a BB pod, alongside two strange bald female doctors, but they all seem happy, hinting at something positive rather than negative. Why Rainey seems content with her child being in a pod remains unclear at this point. Perhaps like her, herself, perhaps these traits get passed down from parent to child, and this might be a special child who has dooms just like herself. Considering the terrible nature of Bridges' baby experiments, it's very surprising. In the trailer we also get a glimpse of the UCA's new president. It's unclear if he has good intentions or is just a douchebag. It's the first time we've seen of him so far, and not much is clear. Interestingly, we get a glimpse into Dollman's former life before he becomes the doll. Prior to becoming trapped inside the puppet, he was a spirit medium, but has now lost his power. And that is evident in the trailer as we see him and what appears to be his son or daughter trying to reconnect with a loved one. And if you look more carefully, you can actually see the doll is tied to the kid's jacket. It's interesting because when Sam's coming to inspect a factory in search of Lou, Higgs, the latter intrigued by the doll, shakes him, calling another soulless shell.
Hey buddy, are you just another soulless little husk, huh?
Let go of me!
Perhaps further implying to himself a soul stuck inside of a shell. We also get a glimpse of what appears to be Deadman. Because he has no birthday and no soul as implied in the first game, he views himself as a soulless meat puppet. So technically, if he dies, he shouldn't be able to live on the beach. It appears Sam is looking at him through a virtual screen that is connected to these servers on the beach that connect the living to the dead in real time. It's unclear if Deadman lives on. Sam clearly seems to be distraught about it as we see Deadman's silhouette. Now in other scenes we see Tomorrow and Higgs, but it appears as if Higgs is spellbound by her dooms and vice versa. As we know, Higgs has the ability to control people at times, and Higgs has the ability to manipulate BTs and even merge with them, and even change his appearance. All thanks to his connection with Amelie, who is revealed to be an extinction entity. His powers come from the ability to tap into the power of the beach, which he gains through his partnership with Amelie, But for me, it seems quite unclear exactly where Amelie's place is in all of this, considering that she's tried to stop the Stranding, so therefore why would she allow Higgs to try bring it around again? It seems like maybe Higgs has found a way to tap into Amelie's power a little bit more than he should have, but I guess we'll find out when it arrives. So a lot of the characters randomly have tears as an allergic reaction to chiral matter, with the tears signifying different meanings, from natural tears to black tar, as this new trailer showed us what looks like to be golden chiral tears. So what do they mean? From my understanding, black tears, it's just because of their command of the tar. Higgs can summon tar with his powers, and Cliff can manipulate the tar because he's looking for his BB. In Death Stranding 2's trailer, people said the black tears indicate Fragile being a repatriate after being shot, but we can't be certain as of yet. As far as we know, her dooms only allow her to teleport from different locations. It's unclear if Lou has the ability to be able to pass her powers along to other people, such as repatriation. Or it could just be that they're just present for the people who have a very strong link with their own beaches or Amelies. It's her dooms realising how powerful that she may be. The scene then cuts to Higgs, again after cosplaying his idol to bring about the extinction, or has somehow tapped into using Amelie's power, but he seems more human here, shedding normal tears, as if his dooms are weakened and they are no longer a black tar, a sign of his abilities weakening. Then we come to the scenes of Fragile and Sam that appears to be very intimate, suggesting their relationship may hint at a potential child depending on how far their partnership extends at this point. Higgs is then heard talking about making a lasting connection with the lady in red.
This time, I'll make a lasting connection with the lady in red. The perfect ending humanity deserves.
Maybe implying his stance on bringing around the final extinction once again. On the opposite and the end of the spectrum, Fragile speaks of bringing everybody together for the sake of the future, before lifting off in the Magellan, which is going to be the new base of operations for the player, similar to the Bridges facility but more mobile and moves closer to you each time we expand the chiral network. We will more than likely be able to upgrade its features along with our weapons and travelling equipment. Once again, we see the servers connected to the beach as it flies away. It's worth noting that the Magellan is capable of sailing through the tar and beaches. It's practically a bridge between the living and the Death Stranding and the dead, hence why some characters are seen turning blue colour. This considered to be the case because they are experiencing a strong connection to the other side or the realm of the dead. Chiral density and tar is massively more present compared to the last game, and the BTs I've mentioned in the latter seem more aggressive. In the final closing of the trailer, we see more than one massive entities with wings, probably acting as a boss battle. Interestingly, the Magellan is seen to be able to integrate itself onto these BT giants, as Hartman seems to lock the ship on the neck of the BT, which is the best way I can describe it, is like a walking spiritual biological Metal Gear Rex. I can't say for certain, but I've got a feeling that Sam might be able to use his headset to control it like Metal Gear Rex in MGS4 to fight these bosses. And "we should have not connected" is a phrase that often appears on these trailers, in contrast to the original, which was the need to connect the world together and make everybody united. But themes of the sequel seem to differ, showing the issues that trying to make the world one to connect may have created more problems. In Death Stranding 1, it's mentioned that as we add more shelters to the UCA network, the chiralium density in the area's atmosphere increases. We know when the chiralium density increases in the atmosphere that timefall rain happens more frequently. Kojima also recently referenced the stick and rope reference. The rope unifies society, and the stick is practically for fighting. So it stands to reason that maybe connecting so much so soon was not a good idea. Or maybe that now you have to defend what you have helped build from those who seek to destroy it. Hence now more than ever why the stick is more relevant.
A distinctly American philosophy, and one which would appear to have spread to this continent. The more we seek to unite the people with metaphorical ropes, the more essential sticks seem to become.
Higgs even mentions about trading in that rope of connectivity for the need of the stick and the rope, things that exert individuality or bind things together, and that really connect people. The idea is that we want more rope than stick, and the first game shows that. But it also shows that too much rope is strangling and invasive, like how Bridges monitors all its citizens and offers no privacy to the individual. And in connecting the world can cause people to resent the will that these people impose on others. It's telling because Bridges used cuffs to showcase its meaning of connection, just as Drawbridge uses rings as a sign of marriage and a love and loyalty. You can definitely tell in the symbology they mean two different things. And another detail that I've only just noticed was that the BB doll that allows people to connect to Amelie's beach makes an appearance again. Say for example when Sam, who is a repatriate, normally in the game loses his connection to return to the world of the living, right? When he doesn't have Lou, it's his connection with Amelie, and those dolls are the connection that Amelie made bringing Sam back originally. That's why they have the same cross-scar. Higgs has one as well as Deadman. They use them to access Amelie's beach and for Higgs to tap into her power. And Cliff meanwhile could be just connected by the traumatic events and his need to reclaim his BB. Of course he has a strong connection to Amelie and 2 gets like a bonus metaphysical creepy doll himself. I noticed that one of these dolls appears to be in Fragile's yellow baby carrier, but I'm not quite sure what that signifies. Perhaps it's to ensure Lou can go to Amelie's beach since Fragile could just jump there as she's done before. We know if Fragile jumps too much it causes her to fatigue. Normally she can jump anybody, anywhere, herself included, but in the new trailer she can only seem to jump Lou out rather than herself.
The best I could hope for was to jump Lou out. Just Lou.
If you want to know my thoughts on what I think about this scene, I have absolutely no idea, although I do know this octopus tentacle thingy seems to make an appearance in the BB pod quite a few times as well. Either that or Higgs has just tried to eat an octopus and is struggling to digest it. We know the octopus we see in Lou's pod at the end of the first trailer isn't just some random creature. It could be what remains of Amelie on her beach. Her body and soul are back in the world of the living, but whatever essence remained of her may be some kind of EE energy or power transformed into this octopus. It's not as far-fetched as it sounds. We know the seam has its own strange ecology and cryptobites, for example, that originated from there. So the idea of being evolving on the beach makes sense, especially one as powerful as an EE. After an extinction event on Amelie's beach, it might have changed so drastically that she might have to adapt evolving into a creature better suited to survive in a new environment. And remember in the first Death Stranding, we already see octopus-like beings swimming in the scene, so it's not like these creatures are unheard of. It's almost poetic when you think about it. Cut off from humanity, lacking both her heart and car, Amelie could have started to become more animalistic, not just in appearance, but maybe in behaviour too. The octopus is red, just like how red has always been associated with Amelie. Now imagine her wandering the scene, transformed and disconnected from her old self, almost like a myth. Maybe this new form of hers ends up clashing with the Magellan, almost like some ancient legend of giant squids attacking ships like the Kraken. The thing is, she might not even realise the Magellan isn't a threat. Octopuses themselves do symbolise power reaching out and spreading influence. That kind of mirrors the Magellan's mission, doesn't it? Spreading the chiral network beyond the UCA. The very legacy Amelie helped shape. It's almost like two sides of the same coin. On one hand, the ambition to connect and expand, and on the other, the lingering essence of someone who tried to do just that, now twisted in something unrecognisable, haunting the scene. Bear in mind, not all of the extinction entities in Death Stranding are human. While Bridget Strand, an extinction entity, or rather Amelie, takes on the form of a human, previous extinction entities are as indicated by archaeologists' findings, especially from Hartman, who explains that often than not, extinction entities can manifest in different forms. It could be very possible that Amelie's soul is intertwined with Lou's, in enabling her to access the pod from beyond the dead, hence why we see the octopus that randomly appears.
Which is to say that all may have been connected to the beach. And this, when viewed in the context of the extinction entity, EE theory, leads me to surmise that organisms with strands are in fact extinction entities.
There's no doubt it's going to be incredible to witness, and it's already broke the internet. I get this game isn't for everyone, but this isn't for you, then there's the door. But for those who like this game, it appears to be the perfect sequel to end the Death Stranding franchise. And I say this because a quotation says a final journey with the dead. I can't say for sure because this game could be a trilogy, but only time will tell. Whenever you admire Kojima, vision or not, this guy's living out his dream, making games he wants, not just for the audience expectations. Plus, Kojima's productions have their own game engine called Decima, which looks absolutely incredible, compared to some modern-day soulless remake or trashy shoot-to-pay-to-win bullshit, using the same boring, broken game engines or outsourcing and using other companies to make their games in the Unreal Engine. So just as a reminder for you PlayStation 5 users who might be interested in Death Stranding 2, it's out on the 26th of June this year. Unfortunately for PC users and Xbox users, there's no information at this current time, but it is what it is. So if you've got nothing better to do like myself, what better way to spend some time in the summer to kick back, put your feet up and play some video games. Well anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please hit that like button because it helps the channel reach a wider audience, and I'd love to hear your opinions on really the theories in Death Stranding 2 and what your thoughts are on it. And if you'd like, please hit the subscribe button, it really helps the channel out. With all that being said, thank you very much for watching and I'll speak to you all soon.
DHB Magellan, integrate! Everyone, hold on tight.